New travel measures taken by many countries against the Omicron variant have come into effect over the weekend, and joining me now to look at the current situation with travel and restrictions is Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine. So Eoghan, travel restrictions for Irish travellers, what do they have to deal with?
South Africa is a bit of a nightmare at the moment. Britain suspended the flights over the weekend. Now there are two flights to Johannesburg and one to Cape Town departing Heathrow tonight. KLM are keeping their flight in place, but what we're looking at is a lot of countries deciding to suspend all international arrivals. Morocco, for instance, tonight at midnight is going to stop all inbound flights. That's probably the most extreme of the measures. And we have a Ryanair flight waiting to take off for Agadir at the moment. It's delayed by about 2 hours. The reality is, Claire, outside all of the restrictions will apply to non-EU countries. The difference between now and March 2020 is that there are measures in place that the European Union will act as a unit, and of course the emergency brake system, which was implemented as part of that last July, has come into effect for the southern African countries that are affected. That means Europe it moves as a unit rather than leaving the 27 countries to come up with individual policies.
And Eoghan, what about travel between the UK and Ireland? Because we heard over the weekend about the introduction of this PCR test. If you're travelling to the UK, you must take one within 2 days of your arrival. But that doesn't apply to Irish travellers, does it?
Absolutely not. The common travel area, and this was very early in the game. The Boris Johnson and the UK government has implemented the letter of the law. The common travel area means that Ireland is not subject to those restrictions. So that means you travel to Britain without having to do the PCR test. Now, there is a really, really important proviso to that. If you have been outside of Ireland, and that includes places we go to frequently like Portugal and Spain, if you've been outside of Ireland in the last 10 days, that does not apply. You will be required to do the PCR test.
Are you expecting any other big moves on international travel today?
It won't happen within Europe, as I say, and remember the emergency brake system, when it's implemented by Europe, this is also important, doesn't apply to EU citizens returning. It does apply to non-EU citizens trying to get in. And obviously we've no direct flights to South Africa, but we'll be watching. I mean, Japan has introduced measures. The ones that really matter in terms of Irish travel are Canada and the USA. They've implemented measures against the Southern African countries, but if they, like 6 European countries, have detected cases of this already, if they implement against Europe, it will have implications for Irish travellers.
OK, well, let's wait and see. Eoghan, thanks very much for that update. Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine.